Alright, happy Friday, good afternoon. Lesson is for my Integrated 1 class. This is just going to be a review lesson for what we covered this week. Just practice. You can think of it as a test, but I can't really hold the test in my hand and grade it, but this will just be a test. So, anyways, we talked about 3 ideas this week. We talked about diagonal length. Um, we saw that in a graph we could actually make a right triangle out of our picture, set up the Pythagorean theorem, and then square root both sides to calculate the diagonal length. Now, we also saw a new version of this problem, and in this new version you were given 2 ordered pairs. You figure out how the x turns into that x, how that y turns into that y, and then you actually have your a and b values and you can plug them into your formula. So this is just a quick little roadmap to remind you how to do these problems that we talked about this week. Diagonal length. The next type of problems we talked about were midpoint problems. If you either had a graph or you were given 2 points, you could just plug it into this little formula where you add the x's together, take half of that, add the y's together, take half of that. This is how we calculate midpoint formula. This table right here, you're going to be given 2 problems where you're given a midpoint and you're given an endpoint, and you're asked to find the other endpoint. So what I would do if I were you is I would make a table, put my endpoint right here, put my midpoint right here, figure out how my endpoint turns into my midpoint for the x values, as well as how this y value turns into that y value from my endpoint to my midpoint. Once you know what that number is and that number is, how they change, you repeat it, and now you know your other endpoint. So hopefully that clarifies enough to do that problem. The last type of problem was what we talked about yesterday with the translations, and there's 6 problems with that. Again, this is just what we're doing. If there's any questions, please reach out to me by means of the Remind app. Grades are current. I've graded everything that's been turned in so far. First assignment, a lot of us turned it in. Then second assignment, we had a drop off. I really want to encourage you guys, turn in all of your assignments. If you turn in all of your assignments through this quarantine situation that we're dealing with, you've really given yourself a strong case as to, hey, I deserve to pass. Even if you weren't passing in the 3rd quarter, just do everything that I've asked you to do, or will ask you to do, and you will have put yourself in a pretty strong position to make a case for yourself, at least to get credit for the 2nd semester. So again, please make sure that we're doing the assignments. And also, there was an email from our principal, Miss White. Please check in with all of your classes. All right, they're going to be reaching out and contacting parents for those of you who have not signed up for Google Classes in any of your classes, or you've not responded to this online education. So again, the lesson's just on this. It'll be due on Tuesday next week. I hope everyone is doing well, and I will post the next video on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody.